Здравствуйте.
Hello.
Добрий день.
Good afternoon.
Can you tell us your name and what you do?
Меня зовут
My name is Zaza Buadze. I'm a film director, screenwriter. I'm Georgian, but I consider myself a Ukrainian film director
Why is that?
тому що я тут
because I've been living and working here for 15 years, and I make Ukrainian films, and I tell Ukrainian stories, and I hope that I am doing a Ukrainian thing the best I can.
Can you tell us about your latest film?
Останній мій фільм «Небо парасолька» або «Umbrella Sky».
My last film, Umbrella Sky, is a Ukrainian, Italian, Czech, Romanian co-production of Ukraine, Italy, Czech, and Romania. We made this movie right before the war, and there have not even been a release yet. There's been nothing. We have just finished, have just made this movie. It is sort of a tragic comic story about a Ukrainian grandfather and an Italian grandson.
And you were talking about the chief playwright. What stories do you think, or what truth should we understand in this structure, in this war, and what has just happened in Ukraine? What should we understand from this story?
То, что пора меняться, мы должны
It's time for a change. We must change. We must stop being lazy. We must free ourselves from insecurities. We must strive for a more just world. It's time. Something has grown old in us, and we need to shed our old clothes. It is necessary to throw off both old clothes and old skin. New wineskins are needed for young wine, if you just figuratively and metaphorically speak about it. The world must change. We had to change. And so it begins to change. Fortunately, I may say so, the divine drama or the divine dramatist has chosen this country and this nation and these people. Apparently, Ukraine deserved it.
What stories do you think are telling and showing the very truth of what we are currently experiencing now?
Ну, конечно, из этих историй
Well,
сейчас
of course, now there are more and more of these stories every day. And now we hear these stories, we experience these stories, we sometimes even participate in these stories. And of course, I have no doubt that after the war will end. It will end fairly, with a victory for Ukraine. And there will be such an absolute explosion in creativity. And there will be films, there will be books that will tell about all of this, about this absolutely unique experience. And I think that I too probably will tell my part of the story, this great story. But if we are talking about which story has touched me the most now, and in which story I saw the quintessence of everything that is happening in Ukraine, it would be such a tragic comic, completely tragic comic story about a Ukrainian woman who has saw an orphan husky dog and decided to save it. And she was trying to catch it for a long time, and finally she caught the frightened husky dog and brought it somewhere to some people, to volunteers and so on. And it turned out that it was a wolf. It wasn't a husky dog, it was a wolf. And this story really shocked me because, well, that's the truth. In this story, all the essence is concentrated for me, both figuratively and energetically. That's the whole point of this war, the woman, her compassion, how she is. I'm trying to somehow reproduce the course of her thoughts. And she saw the huskies, she saw the story of a certain family who are probably refugees, who were forced to break away from their place, to run somewhere, and they were in some kind of chaos and so forth, in fear and so forth. They lost a beloved pet, and she decided to save him, and she ran after this frightened dog, caught it, brought it, and turned out to be a wolf. Well, this is an amazing story. Even though it seems anecdotal, inside the story there is such a tragedy, and such pathos, and such faith in the future, such a vital force that I don't know. I would love to, even if it's not true. I saw it in several sources. Even if it's not true, but I believe that it is true. The story could not just fall from the sky. It could not just appear like a soap bubble. The story is here, the essence of what is happening today. It created this story here like the ocean of Stanislav Lem. It created this form. It just shocked me. Just shocked. It has everything. There's this woman as an image of Ukraine who is so strong that she can catch a wolf, and so merciful that she can save someone else's dog because someone needs it. This dog, it was loved and it loved. That's how she presented it, isn't it? She saved a life. She saved a love. She saved the future of this family because she was sure. That's why she brought this dog to the volunteers. She was sure that the family, that family, was looking for their dog, and she imagined what happiness it would be for them to be reunited, to find the dog. What happiness and joy it would be for this dog to find its owners. This is what she has lived through, and the whole story went through her. It's not her fault that the husky turned out to be a wolf.